welcome to What I Talk About When I Talk About Knitting, the podcast where I talk about things that I have been making, will be making, and will continue to make in the future. So, for today, we have a couple of things. First of all, I'm recording this on December 24th, so it's Christmas Eve. That's like a big deal for us, but for some reason, I have found time to record. Which is very, very, very wonderful. It is finally a little bit chilly, which means I'm wearing a cardigan. I made. So this one is, the shirt first is Saint Catherine of Alexandria by Caravaggio. One of my favorite paintings of all time by my favorite artist of all time. And this cardigan is the folklore cardigan. The pattern was by Lion Brand. They copied the pattern of the Taylor Swift folklore cardigan. And I don't know, it looks great. So I made this using milk cotton fiber. That's like not a term that I think is used abroad, but in the Philippines, that basically means cotton acrylic blend. So this is like cotton acrylic. It's not the best kind of yarn. Like I think it already looks old, but like not in a good way. Like it looks old in a bad way. Well, I mean, I still love the cardigan, and it took me like 5 weeks to make. It was my first cable knit. And for a first cable knit, I think the cables look amazing. I've only made one mistake in the back, and that is honestly like kind of like a tag. Like when people are like, wait, you made that? And I'll be like, yeah, I made a mistake in the back, and you can see it. So you know that I made it, which is very fun. But yeah, I'm glad I finally got to wear this. I finally got to show it off. I don't think I will be doing more of my cold weather knits in the future, mostly because I don't have that much, but also it's not chilly, it's not cold. So how am I going to do it? It's not going to happen. Let's finally start with, what I have been making. Last episode, I think I only talked about a couple of things and they were not that many. And I said I was gonna finish my Sadie sweater for Christmas Day. That didn't happen. I'm gonna show my progress later, but it didn't happen. Instead, what I'm wearing for Christmas Day is what I am fondly calling my Christmas pullover. Is it a pullover if it's just short sleeve? So this one is, this is made from the same fiber as this. So the cotton acrylic, the milk cotton. It's like bulky yarn. I made it with 8mm hooks and 7 for the ribbing. So this one is actually a Raglan fit. It's a Raglan construction with, the regular schmegular short rows in the back. I actually have never done Raglan before. I've never done it. Because I just don't have the equipment. I didn't have the needles for it. Now I do. Let's get to it later. But I figured now that I have these new needles, I can make a Raglan, and I can make it big. Like I can make it with like the bulky yarn. And I didn't actually buy this yarn. One of my very first knits is the Harry Styles cardigan that I'm sure everyone knows. Everyone knows about it. And majority of the color of that is red. So I unpicked that. I frogged it because it's like too big and too bulky and I never wear it. It's too warm. So I thought maybe I can just use the yarn for something that I will actually use. And this is something I will actually use, I think. I'm gonna wear it later today for our Noche Buena. And I'm going to, I don't know, wear it in other times when you're supposed to wear red, like your birthday and Lunar New Year and stuff. Or maybe New Year itself, right? You wear red. I'm not sure. But yeah, I love this one. It honestly, like the fit, I was so scared the entire time because this is all of the yarn. This is all of the yarn. I have nothing left. It was a game of yarn chicken, true and true. You can see like the ribbings, like 3 rows of ribbing. I did basically nothing. It cuts on my body where a crop top would cut maybe a little bit lower. And it's actually not bad at all. I was also afraid because at first I was intending it to be like the neck to be more crew neck style, but it ended up becoming a little bit boat necky. It turned out fine. Like the fit when I wear it looks great, I think. The sleeves are a little bit short because I just didn't have enough yarn for it. When I was constructing this, after I connected the body, I did the sleeves first and I fitted because I was like, if I run out of yarn, I would rather run out of it in the body where I can like figure out a way to wear it still. And not with the sleeves because it's gonna look bad. Like with Raglan with sleeves, with no sleeves, like it's gonna look awful. And so, yeah, this is what I'm going to be wearing later. I'm so excited and I'm so happy. It was a very quick knit, very fun. I forgot the appeal of fun knits that are incredibly fast to make. This took me 3 days, which is, for knitting time, that's nothing. It was pretty exclusively the only thing I was making at the time. And it was great. I love it. It's not the most comfortable, thing because obviously it's, you know, the fiber. It's not the best. But I mean, if I'm not gonna wear wool here because I'm not insane, well, next week, maybe I'll change my mind, depending on the gifts that I receive from people who have been going abroad and buying yarn for me. Thank you very much to my friends, my wonderful, wonderful friends. But, I'm not gonna wear like wool this thick, you know, in the Philippines. As in this, a bulky weight wool yarn. And I'm also not going to wear cotton because it's just too heavy. It's too heavy. So I think this is a good compromise for what it is. It looks so thick. Like, it looks so fun. Look at it. Yeah, anyway, so this is my Christmas pullover. I'm so happy it's done. I'm so happy I can wear something for Christmas that I just made because I can wear like other knits or other makes. I just want to have something new that I intentionally made for the season. Very fun. I'm glad. So for our finished objects, that's actually the only one. That's my only finished object. I have a half finished object though. Half because it's socks and the one pair is done. So my one Torsman socks is done. I literally just cast this off. I just finished it and I made this with Alice yarn. Is it called Alice? I think it's called Alize yarn. Yes, Alize. And it's Turkish yarn, and this is their superwash merino nylon blend. It's called the Artisan. And this pattern is the Torsman socks. And that's the cable. It looks so pretty. Obviously, I have not blocked it. I still have the stitch markers in there so that I can monitor them with regards to the second sock. But I think it looks incredible. I think it looks very nice, very fun, very gorgeous. This is a gift knit. I have made this for a friend who is actually quite a watcher of this podcast, a fan of this podcast. Hi, Danica. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm glad it's done. This is one of those knits that was like difficult mentally. Not because of the pattern. The pattern is fun and great and actually very easy to memorize and very easy to do. You only need to do a cable every 6 rows, and it's really not that giant of an imposition. And it's like fun and rewarding to make. It's just, I don't know. Like sometimes you have knits that are like a slog to get through, and this is one of them. Hopefully the second sock is gonna be less of that. It's gonna be more fun. Oh, and I did some modifications on the pattern. First of all, I want to say the previous socks I've made are all on 2.25 needles. This is in 2.5, knit up very quick. The modifications I've made are, well, it doesn't tell you how long you want to make it, like unlike the vanilla socks that I have been using to make my patterns. Doesn't do that. So what I did here, I think, is 20 here, 50 here, and then I did a heel flap and gusset, which is not what is in the pattern. I just did this because it's the easiest to comprehend for me because I've already done it in the past. And also I forgot the actual heel construction of the one, but it has holes here, and I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't like it, and I wanted it, especially because I'm giving this to someone. I want it to be perfect. The toe cap worried me a little. I did the toe cap today. I actually already did it in the past, and I think it turned out horrible, and so I redid it, and now it's this. Oh my god, I just noticed I did a decrease in the back where I shouldn't have. Like, it's in the middle of the row and I did a decrease. Oh well. I just said I wanted it to be perfect, but not that much, so anyway, this was not that fun of a knit, but like, not because of it, but because of me. I think the second sock would be a lot more fun. Hopefully, I'm so glad it's done. I hope I finish it by first week of January. I mean, that's like a lot of time to be giving myself, but I think I need a lot of time to give myself. So there we go. Torchman socks. First pair, done. Yes. Second, this is an update on a whip that I have talked about in the past. I have 2 more whips that are new, but not this. This is an old one, oldie and goodie. I have been making the Sadie sweater, and I've been making progress. Not that much, but it's happening. So this is actually like, it's already cropped up length for me, which it's always really fun when it's already at the point where you're like, I can cast this off already. Obviously I'm not going to. I want to make it full length. But I wanted to bring this up, not because I've made any substantial progress on it, but because I have realized mistakes I have made. Sorry, I dropped a stitch. I have realized mistakes I've made that I have been thinking about. And honestly, they have been bothering me. First of all, I think I'm going to finish this fucking First, okay, I'm done. First of all, I realized that I made this much smaller than I probably am actually the size of. So if you look at the Sadie sweater, like, things, like what people show when they're wearing it, it's like off shoulder, like it's drop shoulder. So it goes here. Mine, this is also drop shoulder, and as you can see, it goes up to here, right? Mine only goes up to just a little bit off the shoulder. I made a size medium because my bust measurement is not for a size medium, but my bust measurement for when I wear a binder, which is when I am planning to wear this, fits for that. I did not consider that, like, stuff like shoulder and arm are gonna be connected to the bust measurement. So now I think it's like way too small. I'm still gonna finish it. I'm not gonna frog it anymore because there's a chance that it's not. There's a chance that it's not, and there's a chance also that the oversized fit is not for me, and I can make do with a more fitted outfit, and there's also a chance that I can block it out. A lot of things can happen. So I'm just going to proceed with my life. What I'm gonna do with the sleeves though is because I computed it, and the sleeves that I was gonna make for the medium is gonna be way too small for me. So I am going to fit the stitches of the large size here and hope it works out. So pray for my Sadie sweater. I already love her dearly, but she's already giving me so much pain. And all of my knits are she/her, like a boat. Yeah, and another mistake that I've made, in case you haven't noticed, I have been using new needles, and that is because I have new needles. I did something so fucking stupid with this thing, where instead of 80 cm, I used 60 cm wires for this, and now, like, it keeps on fucking falling off. And that's my bad. That's my fault. But let me just fix that real quick. Another mistake I've made is that when I was making this, I was using terrible needles. Actually, I'm gonna knit on it while I'm talking. I was using horrible needles. Metal, but horrible. And so, when my new needles arrived, which I'm going to be talking about later, I changed it to the 4.5 needles because I thought the Sadie sweater was 4.5. A couple rows later, I realized, oh, the ease at which I am knitting is not simply because I have better needles, but because I think I am knitting a looser gauge. And I'm right, and you can actually see that after I changed my needles, they are much more loose. Like, it's not that much, and from a distance you really cannot fucking see it. Actually, you can't see it. Like, you absolutely cannot see it. But I can see it. I can see it. And it's so horrible that I did it. Like, why did I do that? Why didn't I read the pattern? It's fine. And I think if I change back to the 4.0s, it's actually going to make even more of a mess than I already made. Because now there's going to be this, like, weird part of the cloth that is, like, bump. Like, there's, like, a little bump because there's more fabric there. And I would just rather not do that anymore and just do this. But, yeah. I think I'm just gonna go with the 4.5s. It's not horrible. Like, the fabric it's making it's not horrible at all. For the sleeves, I'm just gonna do 4.5s as well, so that they can be uniform. So yeah, Sadie sweater. I'm gonna do a couple more stitches to satisfy the knitting itch. It is wild that there is a knitting itch. Isn't that so fun? Like, the thing about knitting is I want to do it. It sounds so corny, but like, it's such a fun thing to do. And that's so wonderful. You know? Anyway, I'm done. Sadie sweater, you're still going. Next, for our whips, I have a couple. I have two that are new. First, I want to show one that is a result of what I have been talking about earlier, which is that I used some of the yarn of my old cardigan. I'm gonna show pics of it. Maybe I already did, but it's multicolored if you're not familiar. It has red, it has orange, yellow, green, black, as blue, everything. So I have so much yarn that I don't know what to do with. I actually have a whole container. These are ones that I still haven't wound back up, because this is a patchwork cardigan. So, and these are the ones that I have already wound up. Like, it's so much yarn. It's so much yarn. This is a lot of yarn. And what am I supposed to do with it? It's the question of all time. There's still more. Like, there's a lot of it. What I have decided on is to crochet a fun little rug for my room. And I considered a couple design options, like perhaps like geometric, like squares that are put together, which is gonna be good because it's like all bright colors. But then eventually what I decided is a rainbow rug. And it's not like gonna be exactly a rainbow because of the colors. So, but I've started it. Here it is. It's crocheted. So I have yellow here, and then I'm gonna have orange, and then I'm gonna have green, and then they're going to alternate. It's gonna be those three colors, and then after I'm done, I will make the border black. So it's like black, like a ring of black like that, and then a ring of black below. I mean, this kind of yarn I feel is good for a rug because it's like a little bit squishy. It has a lot of material. Like, it's gonna make for it, like, it's already pretty thick. Look at it. And I just think it's like a fun thing to have home decor that is crocheted as opposed to knitted, because knitting it makes for a more flimsy fabric, especially for stuff that's like a bit thin in terms of the yarn. So this is the one. I actually have a pattern that I was following for this, except it was using larger yarn, and I was like, whatever, I can figure this out on my own. So I've been freehanding it. It's the problem is you just can't increase here. You have to increase here as well. That's not a problem. That's just the way it is. But it does mean that it's not a particularly mindless crochet. Because I have to like mark it out, like, okay, here I'm gonna increase here, so that they're all symmetrical and stuff. But I'm assuming I'm gonna have a real good time with this one, especially because it crochets up so quickly. And I do love a quick knit. Who would have thunk, right? Anyway, so that's my third whip of the week. For my fourth whip, I have a friend who gave me some yarn. And the story behind this yarn is it's not actually the yarn that they were giving me. They were giving me a book, but to get the free shipping, I just needed to add more stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll get some yarn so I can make a blanket for this couch. This is our current progress. This is going to be the shadow cable, or it's going to be the shadow cable knit baby blanket by Yarnspirations. And you can't see it yet properly because I haven't done like multiple rows of the cable yet, but there's some cabling here. So those are cables, the little bumps. But they're like so few and far in between that it just feels like divots. It doesn't actually it's not gonna look like actual, it's not gonna look like actual cables. And that's awfully fun. And I'm so sorry for the noise. If it's so noisy, it's because I'm in the living room, windows out into the world, and it's raining and stuff's happening outside. But there we go. I love it. I'm so excited to get it done so I can put it in the couch because the blanket that I made for the couch I stole back to use in my room. Very fun. Love it. Actually, this is not a fun knit. I was lying. This is actually a very horrible knit because the yarn is uncooperative. This is the yarn. This giant fucking ball of yarn. I have 2 of them. Thank you to my friend for sending them over. It's not the most cooperative yarn. It's not the easiest thing to work with. I feel like it likes to do its own thing. It likes to not climb up the wire. And it could also just be that it's so fucking big, and so it won't do that. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so now that all of my whips are done, I am now going to talk about the thing that I am most excited about. I have acquired a knitting needle set, an interchangeable knitting needle set. Ta-da! Very fun. Very wonderful. Okay, so this doesn't have a brand. I bought it online on Shopee for 1,000 pesos. That's like I think it was like 1,050. I was not expecting much because obviously like it's cheap in comparison to other ones that are like 5,000, 6,000. Like I think the cheapest I could have found was like 2,800. And that's like majorly discounted. That's not the retail price for real. It's just discounted. This one is hella good. For what it is, I was actually very surprised. First of all, the wires are pretty good. I can't show them off because I'm using the goddamn wires. Actually, okay, this is my knitting pouch. It used to be a pencil case. I converted it to a knitting pouch. And I have another one that is a crochet pouch. Where is it? This is where my crochet hooks live. And this is where my knitting stuff lives. So this is the crochet hook that I use specifically for knitting. This is my measuring tape. My beautiful scissors. My stitch markers and needles. And then these are the needle stoppers and then the needle key of the knitting needle set. And it also has connectors And these are to connect the wire if you need a larger wire. Isn't that so cool? And then here we have the wires. It's like kink-free wire is the thing. Like, it's actually pretty fucking decent wire. Like, it's good. It's good. For I think it's $20. For 20 American dollars, 1,000 pesos. It's good. And they're swivel tips. They're fucking swiveling, baby. They are fucking swivel tips. And look at how sharp these are. Actually, this doesn't look that sharp. Does this? I think every needle, there's like a different, because of, I don't know, types of needles and stuff. They all like differ. Like, some of them are better than others. Like, I would say the larger sizes are better than like the mid sizes. Like, I think their 4.5 is not that good. Or like, it's good, but like, because it's heavy, right? Like, these are the 10 mm's. They're like 4 millimeters, by the way, so you can very easily use them for sleeve stuff. But this is the 10 millimeters. And they're like quite heavy. And I like that heaviness. Obviously, the smaller ones are gonna be less heavy. It also means they feel like less luxurious, even though like that's just what happens. And they're not light. They're still very dense for what they are. Like, they're not like those cheap aluminum needles. They're very good. And I'm just surprised because obviously, when I bought them, I wasn't thinking I was gonna get super high quality needles. I just wanted something. I wanted to be able to not worry about not having the needles that I want to have or that I need to make something. And that's why I got this. But turns out it's very fun. Like, it's very good. And what's hilarious is, like, nobody in my family knits. It's just me. And I have been trying to get them to give a shit. My mom did attempt, good for her, to listen to me talk about how I'm so excited because they're swivel tips. They did not promote it at all. Like, it wasn't promoted as a good product at all. It was promoted as a cheap product. It wasn't promoted as a cheap product. It was just like, it's just there. You know how, like, it's just there. They did not tell me about the tips, that, like, they're sharp. And they did not tell me that there's swivel tips, that there's connectors, that the wire is kink-free and all that crap. I knew nothing. And they ended up being very good. And my sister, who is, wonderful person, doesn't know anything about knitting and doesn't really give a shit and tries to engage with me but has a limited understanding of how that engagement should work. Which is, as per usual with most hobbies. That's just how it is. I showed this to her. And I was like, look at my needles. They're so wonderful. Blah, 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 blah. And she was like, the pouch is really nice. And the pouch is really nice for real. The pouch is nice. So, yeah, if you want a nice pouch with some darn good needles inside, buy this. I'm not sure if I can link products yet on the description, but if you're from the Philippines, if you look up interchangeable knitting needle set, you will find something similar to this on Shopee very, very easily. I did, and when I bought it, there was like no reviews, 0 anything, 0 stars, anything. So I was terrified that it was gonna suck so bad or I was gonna get scammed because, like, I know 1,000 pesos, I just hyped up that is, like, not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money for a knitting needle set, but I do feel like if I got scammed for 1,000 pesos, I'll be like, come on, So I'm glad I didn't get scammed. Knitting needle set, I finally have one. I hope it lasts me. I hope it doesn't chip off, like the covering, if it does have one, doesn't chip off. I hope I get to use it for a long, long time. And I hope it inspires me to keep on knitting throughout 2025. Okay, that's all actually for the knitting. I don't have any more knitting. I do have, as you can recall, a media rec at the end of every episode. This is media rec, I call it, but it's like literally just book recommendations. My book recommendation for this episode, The Sonnets by William Shakespeare. I love poetry and I like the sonnets, and I have been obsessed with writing a sonnet for a long time now about a specific topic, and it's difficult. And I actually have another book called like Notes on Sonnetism, and it's about like, you know, Filipino sonnets and writing them about an author. It's written by an author that I actually met, and I have like a signed copy, which is very fun, as usual. This is not a signed copy, obviously, but yeah, I love this. I like sonnets. I like it. I like form and structure in poetry. Not always, but I think with this, what I'm trying to get is I'm trying to absorb some of those more formal, structure-y, like, poetic elements, because I would like to hope that they would help with my writing. But to end this episode, I would like to read you a sonnet that I really like. It's Sonnet 141 by Shakespeare. It goes, "In fate, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors note. But 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who in despite of you is pleased to dote. Nor are mine ears with thy tongue's tune delighted, nor tender feeling to base touches prone, nor taste, nor smell, desire to be invited to any sensual feast with thee alone. But my 5 wits, nor my 5 senses can dissuade one foolish heart from serving thee, who leaves unswayed the likeness of a man, thy proud heart's slave and vassal wretch to be. Only my plague thus far I count my gain, that she that makes me sin awards me pain." Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Anyway, that's it for this episode of what I talk about when I talk about knitting. Apparently, I talk about a lot. Bye.